In this video, I'm going to show you how to create and import questions for an online test using Brightspace or D2L. So I've already gone ahead and using my exam view program, I have selected a number of questions here. I've got 17 questions I've selected. When it comes to my quiz though, I'm not going to use all 17. I'm going to use, I think, 8. And so it's going to go 17, but it's going to choose 8. And so it's going to give a variety to the students. That's what I'm going to do for this. You don't have to. If you want a 10 quiz question, you just want 10 questions, just pick 10 questions, but this is what I'm doing. So next thing you want to do is go up to File up here at the top, click on File, move down to Export. You've got a few options here. And what we want to do is we want to click either one of these Blackboard ones. I'm going to go with Blackboard 7.1. They do the same thing. So anyway, click on that. Now what we need to do is we need to save this file. I always like to save these to the desktop so they're easy to find. And I'm going to call this is section 3.5 in my textbook, so I'm going to call it 3.5. I'm also going to copy this right now because I'm going to need to do some more naming here after I press save. Once I press save, under name, I'm going to put the exact same thing, 3.5, and down here under directory name, I'm also going to put 3.5. So I'm going to use the same name 3 times. It's important all 3 names are exactly the same, all 3 times. So once you got that, click OK. So now it's saved to my desktop. So next thing I'm going to do is go onto my Brightspace, and I want to go up to the More button here. Click on More, navigate down to Course Administration, click on that option. And what I need to do now is I need to import my questions. So here's the import/export/copy component. Let's click on that. And we want to go down to import. So import is the bottom option. You just need to click on import and then click the blue start button. And now what we need to do is we need to upload the file. And I actually have 2 files here I'm going to upload. So I'm going to click on upload. And if you have to navigate to your desktop, navigate to your desktop. I actually have 3.5, that's the one I showed earlier, but I also have 3.3. So I'm actually having 2 sections on my quiz. So I'm going to click on 3.3 and click open. And then when this big blue import button is ready, click on import all components. It's going to take a little bit of time here to upload the file, convert the file, and then it'll give us a warning that it has finished doing that. Okay, so it has successfully imported it, and that took about 30 seconds. It can take up to a minute sometimes. I actually, at this point, want to import that second one. Maybe you don't need to, but that's what I need to do. So I'm going to import another package. And once again, I'll click on upload. And this time I'm going to click on the 3.5 one that I did earlier. Essentially, I'm just repeating what I did. Click open. And when we see this blue import all button come up, I'm going to repeat, click on that, and again I'll probably need to wait 30 seconds, anywhere up to 60 seconds probably, for this to import properly. And we have now imported that one successfully. So what we actually want to do is we want to go to the quiz area. Now none of the buttons on here are going to take us there. So just click any of these. Doesn't matter, view content. It's not taking us to the right spot, but we'll just suffer through this. So what we do want to click on now is we want to go up to More and Quizzes. And when we click that, we'll actually see the 2 quizzes that we've imported. Now, the quizzes that we've imported are not exactly correct though. So as I scroll down my long list of quizzes, here are the 2 that we just imported. So what I actually want to do now is I want to put these questions into my test bank, and then I'm going to create a quiz drawing from the test bank. So what I want to go next to is the quiz library here. So let's click on this. And within your quiz library, it's probably a good idea to separate things into sections. For this course, I've got things simplified. There are many folders here, but really it just comes down to biology, chemistry, physics, and space. Okay, so these 4 here, and what I'm dealing with is biology. So within biology, again, I have another series of folders here, and this is where I'm going to put my questions. So you can see some of the previous sections here. So I actually need to create. So first I'm going to click on New, and then click on Section. And here's where I will create the place where I'm going to put my questions for 3.3. So let's just type 3.3, and then I do like to go to the hide title from learners. I don't know why. Click on save. And I'm going to repeat that process here for the other section. So we'll do that. 3.5. Hide. Notice you can't actually shuffle all questions in here. So if you just wanted to have a quiz of 10 questions and there wasn't any choosing, you could import them, create this and click shuffle and that would work. But I'm going to avoid that. Okay, so I've created the two folders where I'm going to organize my questions. So let's go down and I'm going to open up the 3.3. And now is where we're going to import those questions from earlier. So we'll next go to import. And we're going to go to the middle option here, browse existing questions. And with any luck, it may open up. So it actually did open up to the correct one. So that doesn't always happen. If you need to find the source, just click on this. And then this will be a list of all the quizzes that were on that earlier list. Anyway, it is on the right one. So click on that. And then you can select the individual ones or just click at the top, press import. And they're now into the folder here for 3.3. That's good. Double check that. Everything looks fine. I'm going to repeat the process with 3.5 just because I need to. So I clicked on 3.5 on the left, import, browse. Now here's probably where we're going to have to change the directory. Yep, so it's on 3.3, and it's nice because it's already telling me I've installed those ones. So I'll click on 3.5. I'll click all 17, import. And that's good. So all of our questions have now been imported into the test bank. So let's click on done. Now the next step is going to be to create the quiz. And again, there's a few different options you may want. Before I even do that though, I'm actually going to delete these two files here because if the kids go on, they'll actually see those two and they'll try to do the quiz and that can get confusing. So click them, go to more actions and click delete and it will delete those two. So just make sure you actually do upload those questions into the question library before you delete it. If you delete, you'll have to repeat the previous steps. So anywho, now I want to go to my making of the new quiz. So I'll click new quiz. And the next step here is I'm going to name this. And I'm actually going to highlight this and copy it because I'm going to need that name later. Now here's where we actually go ahead and make our quiz. So we want to go down to the add edit questions. Let's click on that box. And again, the type of quiz I'm doing is I am going to have a whole bunch of questions and I'm just going to select a few. So what I want to do is I want to click on add and go to question pool. And here's where you can name the sections. I just like to put a dot just so the kids don't see anything. You can name it. I'm going to pick questions from 3.3. You can name it 3.3, but I'm just sort of eliminating that. So anywho, now I need to go find the questions from 3.3. So I'm going to click on my biology tab there and go down to this one. And here's where I can select the individual questions. Or you can also just click on that and it'll actually pick all of them, which is good. We'll click import. Now when I'm going to make this quiz, there are 4 questions and I want the kids to have 2 of them. So click on 2. Those are the 2. You can sort of double check at this point. You can click on the questions here. I don't think I really need to. So I'm just going to click save at this point. So right now my quiz is out of 2 points. So I do want to add another section to this. I'm going to go to add. I'm going to create another question pool. Again, I'm going to put that silly dot. I know that I'm going to pick 8 questions here. So I'll pick 8 ahead of time. And then it's a matter of, again, going to the biology section. And again, I know I'm going to pick all my questions from 3.5, so I'll just click it there. So there's all 17. Sometimes I'll actually break this up. So say the first 4 questions were all kind of similar ones, and I only wanted them to pick one of those. I might just pick 1, 2, 3, 4. And then come back and make a second section. And what's kind of nice is it'll actually, the second time I come to this directory, it'll tell me which ones I've already picked so I don't duplicate it. So for me, this is fine here. I'm just going to put them all into one. And press save. So my quiz at this point should tell me it's out of 10. You can add other questions here. You can add, new you can make up your own. You can have sections of questions. You can add multiple choice, true and false. But this is what I'm going to do for this. So I'm going to go up to the top here and click back. And we're going to move to the second tab. We've got about 4 tabs we need to address here. So let's go to the restrictions tab. Now there is a key thing on this restrictions tab, which if I were creating this program, I would not do, is that right here. It says hide from users. So if you go through and create a whole quiz and you forget to uncheck this, the kids won't see it. Now for me, I am actually going to have a start date and a finish date on this. You don't necessarily need to set this. You can just have it there, but I am actually going to set this for the kids. So I know that this quiz is going to happen on the 12th, and I know it's going to happen around 10 a.m. And then my course is going to end around the 30th, so that is set. Again, you don't need to do that, but I like to do that. So that's good. Next thing is the assessment. Let's click on assessment. And this is where we're going to set it up so the quiz will automatically grade itself, mark itself. So that's the first box we need to check. Allow it to be graded immediately. Click that. So that's done. Now what I'm doing is an extra bonus feature here is I'm actually using the grade book on this program. So I want to add a grade item here. If you're not using the grade book, you can ignore this step. So for me to add this to my grade book, I just click on add grade item. And remember I copied it earlier. I'm now just pasting it in. My gradebook setup, I already set up with a couple of categories, so I'm just putting this in term. And this quiz is out of 10, but I want to weight this as a 1. The weightings are up to you as well. There shouldn't be anything else I need to put on here, so let's click save. And additionally, I need to click allow export. If you don't click that, the kids will do it and won't go to the gradebook. There is one other thing we need to do on this, and again, this is your preference. We need to figure out how many attempts. Sometimes if I'm doing a practice quiz for the kids, I'll put an unlimited number of attempts. My grade 11 chemistry, those kids sometimes will do the practice quiz before the test 15, 20 times. Some kids won't do it at all. For this quiz, though, I actually want the kids to have 2 attempts. And it's set to take the highest of those attempts. Now we're just about done. The last thing I want to do is go to the submission view. Once the kids have submitted the quiz, I want them to be able to look at their right answers and kind of learn from that. And again, you have multiple options here. You can do whatever you want as an educator. You don't have to have the answers show up. And that's what it's currently defaulted to. No, it won't show the answers. But I do like to show the answers. And again, there's a whole slew of options here. I just want to show the quiz answers. So I'm giving the kids the quiz. I'm giving them the answers. I'm giving them a second attempt. I'm hoping they do better the second time. They may learn from their mistakes. They may not. Some kids don't even bother to do a second attempt. They're just happy getting 30% the first time. That's it, I'm done. Well, that's not the way I would view this personally. I'm also going to click show class average and show the distribution here. Whether or not they want to look at that. Click save. And we're just about done here. Click save and close. And it's going to take us back to the quiz screen. So depending on when you have the date set for, so these are the current quizzes in my class, and we've been doing these all semester here. We've done lots. Now, I set this one it's right here. It's going to be a future quiz, remember, because I set the date. And if you don't set the date, it'll just appear at the top. So once the kids have done the quiz, if you just click this tab beside it, there's a grade feature here. And maybe we'll just go to a quiz that we've already done in the past. Let's go to name that planet. No, let's go to what's in our night sky. And we click on grade. And here's where it's going to show you all the marks for the kids. It'll show you their attempts. And so you can go ahead and you can take whatever mark you decide. So you can enter that into any other grade book you want. So there is that. And that should be about it. That's all you need to do to make a quiz on here, and etc.